Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daisy Reese, and I'm the job developer at Madera Community College. We are so excited that you are here with us this afternoon for our Workshop Wednesday series on Earn While You Learn. So today we're going to be having a conversation about working on campus. What does it take to work on campus? How do I go about it? How do I apply? Where are these positions posted? So we're going to share all of that with you today. So before we get into that, let me see. Are you guys can see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Do you guys see the slideshow view?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, we see PowerPoint.
Do you see all the slides or just
Yes,
the main
all the
slide?
slides.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that, do you guys see the main slide now?
Yes.
Okay. So what are some types of jobs that you can earn some money while going to college? Of course, we have working on campus, as well as working off campus. And I included a third one in here, which is scholarships. And some of you may think, well, how am I earning scholarship money? Well, think about it. You are having to write a scholarship application. You're having to possibly write an essay. So if awarded that scholarship, that is the best paid essay that you have written, right? When we're looking at scholarships on our campus, I think the minimum amount of a scholarship is about $250. So think about it. That is a great way to earn some money. So there are more workshops that are going to be coming up regarding scholarships. So stay tuned. But today we are here to talk about earning that money through work experience. And in the chat, I won't be able to see the chat, but like I mentioned, Sophia and Paul are monitoring the chat. I want you to write down, I did some research on the top 10 best jobs for college students. So top 10 best jobs for college students. So put it in the chat. What do you think are some of the jobs that are in that list? Go ahead and put it in the chat now, and Paul and Sophia will monitor the chat and they will let me know. And then we'll take a look at the list and see if if what you wrote is in that list.
Daisy, is this after they graduate, while they're a student?
No, while going to college. So this is while you learn. So not once you've graduated. These are the top 10 jobs or best jobs for college students while going to school.
All right, we got a couple already. One, a tutor. Another one says a waiter, a librarian, student ambassador. Do they have to be legal jobs or can they be illegal jobs too?
We're talking about legal ways to earn a living.
Okay, I was just kidding. Student assistant has come through. Those are the ones that we've had so far. What we probably missed them, right, Daisy? What are they?
No, actually, some of the ones that you mentioned on there are on the list. So one that came up was tutor, and that is on the list. So I have the list here for you. I'm going to share it with you. So these are the top 10, and keep in mind this is nationwide. So the very first one, we should have offered a gift card or something for the person that actually got the first one, and it's a paid internship.
Wow.
So you may be wondering, what is an internship? How do you get one of those, right? So if the term internship is not familiar to you, an internship is basically a job opportunity. And that job opportunity has to be lined up to your ultimate career goal. So for example, we heard tutor, right? So let's say I ultimately want to be an elementary school teacher, and I find myself a job opportunity as a tutor in a K through 6 school. That tutoring opportunity is in line with the definition of an internship, because although I'm not a teacher yet, I can already start developing the skill sets that I need for my ultimate career goal. So let's say you want to be a lawyer, right? Well, an internship would look like maybe part-time job at a law firm. You're not a lawyer yet, but you are getting exposed to the environment that you would ultimately want to work in. So that is the paid internship. There are a lot more unpaid internships than paid internships, but when you see those paid internships, make sure you are competing for those. Make sure that you have a plan to do an internship, whether paid or unpaid, while you're going to college. That is going to be really the difference maker on being able to market your skills and your experience once you are done with your college experience. So that's number one, right? Look at
Awesome.
the second
Yeah.
one. What's the second one? Any job at your college campus. And what is it that we're talking about
What?
today? How to get a job on campus. So that is the number two best job for college students, is working on your campus. So today we'll talk about that process. We're also, several of us here, actually all of us here on this call, host on-campus job opportunities. So we have students that we supervise. So we'll talk to you about the opportunities that we have available and some other opportunities and things that you can look for in terms of applying for jobs on campus. Another one, I'm not sure if it came up in the chat, camp counselor. Paul, did you see that one?
I didn't see that
No.
one. No.
That
Yeah,
one's a
that
very
one wasn't
popular
there.
one because students can be camp counselors usually during the summer. So you don't have to worry about working during the school year. You do this during the summer, save your money, and then that's that. Then we have companies with employee tuition programs. What does that mean? There are a lot of companies that will actually pay their employees tuition, or they have a certain cap on the amount that they will pay for their employees to continue their education. Some examples are, for example, I think we have AT&T. They will pay up to 8,000 in tuition reimbursement for their employees. There's also Chipotle. They do some reimbursement, tuition reimbursement. I don't know if you've heard of Starbucks. Starbucks will also, they have an agreement with the university. And of course, Disneyland has something like that, but right now, I think they're close. So that's not, and it's not very close from us. So not necessarily a place that we're looking to, but look for those companies that also offer the employee tuition programs.
Daisy, what about Chick-fil-A? That's the spot, man.
I haven't checked, but I'm sure that they probably
Oh,
do.
all right, cool.
But in addition to that, keep in mind that even if they don't have a tuition reimbursement or employee program, most of these establishments have a scholarship. So keep an eye out. I know Taco Bell has one. McDonald's has a scholarship that is very well known. So make sure that you apply. If you're going to their establishments and buying from them, then make sure you look into that and get some of that money for those scholarships as well. Number 5 is on-demand driver. So this is your Uber, your Lyft, because of the flexibility with the schedules, correct? They offer something that it's whenever you're available. So you're really able to bring in that school schedule and see where you can work. We have hotel receptionists here. And I've heard, we actually have several hotels that have reached out to us asking if they can promote their opportunities on our campus. And I think that it's one of the best college student jobs because if you're working at night, it's highly unlikely that it'll be super busy. So the receptionist actually has some time where they can study. So that's a great perk of that particular position. We have personal trainer as well as tutor. We talked a little bit about that. Babysitter and extreme sports instructor. Now, some of these, again, they're at the national level. So extreme sports instructor, I don't know that that would be too popular in our area. I don't know a personal trainer either, but include in the chat, what are some of the best jobs that you think are not on this list, but would be ideal in a local perspective? So in the Madera area, what are the best jobs considering this list? So in the chat, go ahead and tell Paul, tell Sophia, what's not on here that you think it's one of the best jobs for the Madera area? Or maybe most common jobs.
All right, what do we got? People are typing. Somebody said Uber, but I think you mentioned that, right? As
that one is on the
handyman
national
driver.
level, so it applies to us as well. Very good. And you know, one of the ones that it often won't make it to the list, but it's very unique to the Central Valley is farm work. We have a lot of students that during the summer will work in the farms, and that is work experience. Oftentimes when I meet with students, they say, I don't have any work experience, but they have been working as a farm worker for years. That is work experience, valuable work experience, and it should be added to your resume. So I just wanted to make sure that we share that, some of the local opportunities that students take advantage of in the summer.
Daisy, we had some more mentioned: mentor, office assistant, house cleaner, WWE wrestler. No, I put
very
that
good, very good local one.
Yeah.
No, I put that one. But those are the ones that came in.
Great, thank you for sharing.
And then Daisy, real quick, can I ask you, because when you said most people don't realize that working in the fields is a job, I think maybe most students don't know how to articulate that or put that on a resume. Where can they, if I'm a student at Madera, where can I go for help with that?
Well, interesting you bring that up because I am your sole contact person for that. We do have the Career Transfer and Employment Center. We are in our virtual space right now, like everyone else, but when we are on campus, we are located in the administration building, AM 141. And so you can come in and we can help you with creating that resume. We can walk you through the job search process. We even offer mock interviews. So if you are preparing for an interview, not really sure how to prepare for it, we can walk you through that process. So we're really there to support you through all aspects of the job search.
And Daisy, that was the question we got at the beginning. If, where can a student get help with interviews? And you just answer that. And now that we are all working remotely and students, you guys aren't able, sorry, right now to attend campus right now, are they still able to utilize these services?
Yes, everything. You still have access to everything. I am meeting with students via Zoom, and my email and my phone, I have access to both of them. So you can go ahead and reach out to me via email or give me a call, and I will be able to assist you through Zoom or over the phone. So we do have all those tools are still available to you.
Thank you, Daisy.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. So what was number 2 of the best jobs for college students? We see it on here, any job at your college campus. So we're going to look at some of the on-campus opportunities. So before we get into the actual types of job opportunities that we have, I want to make sure that we differentiate on the different categories that we have of work that we have on campus. The first one and most popular, of course, is federal work study. Federal work study, basically, these 3 categories differentiate themselves on the funding source, who pays you. So federal work study, we as a school, we get federal funds and can employ students that based on need are eligible for the program. And so in turn, the federal government is paying for you to work on campus. The next one is non-federal work study. So these are job opportunities that are also available to students, but the funding source is our campus. So the department has to have funding set aside so they can pay to hire a student employee. And the third one, of course, the funding source, the best salary out there, 000, so volunteer opportunities. As you can see there, ASG and club involvement is a type of work on campus that, although it is not paid, it is very valuable because if you don't have any work experience, that is the best way to acquire that work experience. So the 3 types of job opportunities or work opportunities that we have on campus, once again, federal work study, non-federal work study, and volunteer opportunities. And Paul, any shout out to the volunteer opportunities, ASG or club involvement?
Man, we're looking for volunteers all the time. And the best thing about volunteering is you get to connect with people on campus and make connections. That's how I started. I was a student at Fresno City College. I wanted to get involved. I started with student government and volunteering. And then before I know it, very quickly, I got a job on campus because of the connections I made and the people that basically needed work. And on our campus, I will say there's a lot of opportunity to volunteer. And then there's a lot of opportunity to work in offices and just different departments on our campus. So making those connections, they're so key. Even now, as a full-time employer or employee, I'm sorry, making connections will help with our next job moves. So just real quick though, show of hands, who's in here, who started as a student worker in federal work study on a community college? Can you guys raise your hand? There's like what, 3, 4? So we started as where you guys are, going to a workshop like this, getting federal work study, working in an office, and then now we're actually hired in that same the same organization or similar organization. So this is our full-time job, guys. So we'll talk more about that later, but that's all I have to say.
No, thank you. And I think Paul touched on a very important point, which is the networking. So I can tell you that maybe on average per year, we have about 40 federal work study opportunities on campus at Madera. When you look at 40 and you look at the number of students that we have, I can guarantee you that we have way more interest than we have opportunities, right? However, if you don't get selected, my strongest recommendation is if at first you don't succeed, you just get up and try and try and try again, right? And Paul hit a really good point, which is the networking part. So maybe federal work study didn't work out. Maybe non-federal work study didn't work out. Go and volunteer, get to know people on campus, because that is going to set you apart for the next round of hiring that happens on our campus, which it does happen frequently. Usually the highest hiring volume that we have is during the fall semester, but we also hire not as high and not as high numbers in the spring, but we still have opportunities in the spring. So keep that in mind. All right, so when you come to my virtual office right now, but when we were on campus, when a student came into the office and said, I'm interested in working on campus, the first question that I'm going to ask that student, or that I always ask that student, is, are you eligible for federal work study? And oftentimes they're going to say, what is that? And I can relate. You saw most of us raise our hand. We all started as federal work study students, employees within our campus. So this is something that at one point is new, but hopefully this presentation will shed some light on that. So we do have Jesse here from the financial aid office, because I usually send students to financial aid to find out if they are federal work study eligible. And to be federal work study eligible, the very first step is that you have to file a FAFSA. And when you file that FAFSA, is going to determine your need and if you are eligible to work, for this program. It's very important on the FAFSA. And Jesse, maybe you can add a little here. There is a question on the FAFSA where the students are asked if they are interested in federal work study, correct?
Yes, that's correct. And I've seen students that don't qualify for cash grants, so like they don't get a check, but they do qualify for federal work study. So if you're not getting financial aid, but you're interested in working, you should still ask, because there are those cases where you can work for these funds, and even if you don't get free money.
Now,
Awesome.
how about in responding to that question, Jesse, they have to put yes to being interested in working or being part of a federal work study program, correct? Or can they still be part of it if they answered no on their FAFSA?
If you answered no, or I don't know, which is an option on the FAFSA, we don't select you automatically for federal work study, but you can still participate in the program, but you'll just have to reach out to me so I can look up your eligibility. With that question, we do predetermine students' eligibility, and we send them an email at the beginning of the semester. So if you're eligible for federal work study and you have financial need, you receive an email basically offering you an award, and it's up to you to go find that job. But if you didn't answer yes to that question, you just have to take an extra step and contact me so I can look up your eligibility.
Jesse,
So, very important.
I just submitted my financial aid application a few days ago, and I said no. Can I go back and change it to yes?
Yes, you can. You just have to make sure when you make any changes to your application that you hit submit and get a new confirmation page, or else those changes will not go through.
Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Very good question. So keep in mind when you are completing your financial aid application. And as I had mentioned earlier, these federal work study funds are provided to the employer, in this case, our college campus, so that we can finance these job opportunities for the students. And it's very important for me to know if you are federal work study eligible, because then I know how to refer you in your job search, right? If you're not federal work study eligible, I cannot show you the list of 20 federal work study opportunities that we have when they won't be able to hire you. So it's very important for us to know exactly whether you're eligible for federal work study or not, and so that we can guide you in that job search process.
And if you guys have questions about filling out your financial aid, as I think, Daisy's explaining how important it is to get that done so that we're able to see that list of jobs you're eligible for. Our awesome financial aid department, Jesse, they've created video guides to help you complete the documentation. So I will go ahead and drop the link to those videos in our chat. They're posted on the financial aid website, and they're also posted on our YouTube channel. So I will go ahead and drop both of those links for you. That way you can refer to those when you're completing your financial aid and making sure you're clicking yes that you are interested in federal work study.
Thank you, Sophia. And before we move from this slide, Jesse, we already talked about this in the beginning, but I don't think it made it to the recording. Can you share with us again the eligibility for federal work study in terms of units and GPA?
Yes, so for federal work study, like we mentioned, Daisy mentioned before, your financial aid application has to be complete and any missing documents have to be turned in and processed. That's the first step. The second step is to be enrolled in at least 6 units. So you don't have to be full-time to participate in federal work study. You just have to be in 6 units to qualify. And with that, we determine how much financial need you have. And financial need, 6 units. And you have to maintain a satisfactory academic progress. And what that means is you have to have at least a 2.0 GPA and complete 67% of your units attempted. So you have to be successfully passing your classes so you can stay eligible for federal work study. So those are the requirements to qualify.
Thank you. Do we have any questions on that? No. Okay.
No.
So did we have something, Paul?
No, I was just going to say, I'm looking through. I don't see anything.
Okay.
But again, feel free, guys, if you have any questions, just to put it in the chat.
So what do you think is my next question to the student? So my first question to the student is, are you eligible for federal work study? I follow that up with a second question. What do you think is that second question? We can take guesses on the chat. What do I ask a student? What would
So
be the second
you're
question?
talking about when they come to see you, right?
When they come to see me, they step into either my virtual office or our physical office saying, I want to work on campus. What do I need to do? The first question is, are you eligible for federal work study? Then there's a second question. What do you think that question is?
What would you like to do? I don't know.
That, you know, we do ask students. So, you know, what do you have an
Okay,
interest in?
we got one. Do you already have a resume?
That person
Did they
is
get the prize?
correct.
Oh,
Yay.
That person is correct. So we will get you a prize. So don't log off immediately after this. We'll have to get you a prize. Do you have a resume? The resume is very, very important for any job search, right? Not just the job search on campus. Now, we have made it a requirement of our federal work study opportunities. So any student that's applying for a federal work study opportunity must have a resume that they have created, revised, or updated through our online job board, which is the College Central Network. So the first step that we're going to do is whether you have a resume or you need to create one, we're going to schedule an appointment with the job developer. So myself, I'm like, can I point to me on this virtual background? We're going to schedule an appointment to either create, revise, or update your resume using our online job board, which is the College Central Network, or CCN for short. And the College Central Network it's a very important tool, because through this tool, we are going to be not only creating your resume, but this is also the tool that we utilize to post the job openings for federal work study, non-federal work study, and we can even include volunteer opportunities in there. So you can find a variety of opportunities available to students. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what is the College Central Network. So this is the link to our current online job board, the College Central Network. Notice how it still references Reedley College, because we are in that transition, moving away from Reedley as a parent college. We are now our very own independent Madera Community College. So yay for that.
Nice.
It is going to take us through this year. We are still going to be utilizing this shared system. And it looks like by next year, we'll have our own, and we will let you know what that may be. We may be continuing with the College Central Network, or it may be a different online job board. But basically, if you have done a job search through Indeed, Indeed is an online job board. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of online job boards. And now they kind of have to differentiate themselves based on a specific target audience. And this platform that we have here, the College Central Network, has a focus to work with the college student. So you see on the screen, this is the main page. When you type collegecentral.com/Reedley College, you're going to arrive to a page that looks like this. And I'm actually going to take you to that page. I'm going to see if I can share my screen and switch now. Let me see where we are. Okay. So from this page, right, that's where we were. This is the College Central Network. So as a student, you're going to click students. Notice how alumni can also connect to this platform as well. So it is available to you even after you graduate. And employers can create an account as well, because they're the ones that are posting the job opportunities. So as a student, I'm going to click on students, and then it's going to take me here. If you can see on the screen, it's asking for a user ID and a password. If you have created an account, which if you and I have worked together before, we've worked on your resume, you already have an account on the system. Your username will be defaulted to your student ID number. So your campus student ID number will go on here, and then the password. If you have not created an account, you will need to create an account and create your password so that you can have access to the platform. When you do have access to the platform, this is your main landing page. This is what it looks like. So as you can see on here, a number of resources for the college student. For example, you'll see, if you see where I'm pointing here, the career podcast, there's over 80 plus topics on a podcast form that you can listen to, how to prepare for an interview, how to dress for success. All of that can be found on here. There's a document library over to your to the right-hand side of the screen. But the main online job board feature is found here in the center of the page. The other tool that we'll utilize here is My Resumes, because that's the tool that we're going to be utilizing to create your resume. So you see, I already have an example here that has been uploaded. And when we meet together, if you have not created your resume through the system, it is highly likely that we're going to need to transfer your information to the resume builder. So let me go ahead and give my resume a name. And since I already have 2020, let's make this one 2021. And you see here, it breaks down the information and makes it very user-friendly. I get to include my contact information, and it's already extracted that from my profile that I created. So that is something that is on there. I get to create an objective, everything that I need to include in a resume. And again, you don't have to be nervous about writing your resume, because we're gonna guide you through every step of that process. So I'm gonna go back to the dashboard now so that I can show you how you can look for on-campus opportunities through the same platform, all job search related items in one platform. So any questions before I move to do that? Do you see anything in the chat?
I'm looking in the chat, Daisy. I don't see anything yet.
But I do want to add some things. So you're telling me, Daisy, that in addition to like Indeed, our students, our Madera Community College students, have access to you, our job developer, that will help them with interview skills, with resumes. And in addition to sites like Indeed, they have what you're showing us now, the College Central Network, where they're able to search for jobs that are specifically for college students.
For college students. Remember how at the beginning we saw the best jobs for college students? And those jobs were basically labeled as the best jobs because they can accommodate a school schedule, correct? So this platform here, it really caters to those employers that have those types of opportunities that are student friendly. So I encourage you to check out this website. If you haven't created your profile yet, if you haven't met with me, I encourage you to do so. If you've already met with me and you've created your resume, you're one step ahead of the game, and that is great. So keep up the good work.
And Daisy, let me just say, I don't like doing resumes. I don't know who likes doing resumes, but
I'm like, I do.
If you're gonna find a job on campus or anywhere else, it's the resumes. Sometimes we're so busy as employers, like the resume is so important because it's kind of like that swipe left, swipe right thing. You know what I'm saying? Like if it doesn't catch your attention, oh man, we're on to the next. So please utilize the resume builder and then utilize Daisy.
Yes, the templates on there are really great. We have about 4 different templates to choose from. And I can tell you, I have seen resumes from like the worst to the best. And the templates that are offered through this system are really at the top of the list. They really help you format that resume. I think that the hardest part of a resume is not what information needs to go on there. I think the hardest part oftentimes comes down to the formatting. You just don't know how to format and things are not aligned well. And this tool is going to help you take care of all of that. So I encourage you guys to use it.
Yeah, not only do you guys have this, but you guys have Daisy, who is the job developer, who is the expert in resumes and in helping you do that. So forget the formatting. I'm just going to email Daisy. And again, I dropped her email address in the chat so that way you guys have her contact information. So please reach out to her.
All right. So we are going to see, how do I look at the job opportunities that are on campus? So you have 3 buttons here. The first one is search my school's job. So when I click on that button, I can either view all jobs by clicking the green button, or I can do a filter by putting a keyword or looking for a major or a job type through one of these filters. So keep in mind that when you click on my school's jobs, that doesn't just mean on-campus employment. That also means the jobs within the area. So if there's an employer in the Madera area that posted to our school, that would be considered a job within my school. So don't be misled by the title here. My school's jobs does not mean just on-campus employment. If you want to filter on-campus employment opportunities, go ahead and go to view jobs by keyword, type the keyword in, MCC for Madera Community College, and then click on view jobs by keyword. And that's going to bring up any jobs that are currently posted and taking applications for on-campus employment. You notice here our custodial department, they have a vacancy right now, and they're taking applications, really resumes at this time. So let's say I'm interested in this job and I want to learn more about it. I see that it's WorkStudy and I'm federal WorkStudy eligible. So I'm gonna learn more about it. You click on the link here, come across our logo there. It's an on-campus opportunity. So they're looking to fill one federal WorkStudy vacancy. And then it tells me what the position consists of. It consists of servicing, cleaning, and supplying restrooms, cleaning building floors, sweeping, mopping, and so forth. So I see here what Jesse was talking about. You know, the minimum GPA requirement is a 2.0, which is in line with the federal work-study requirement. And you do have to be enrolled in 6 units. Okay, so I've created my resume. It's been approved by the Career and Transfer Center job developer. So what do I do now? Once your resume has been uploaded, all I do is I come to that job and I click apply now. And I am going to apply to this job right now so that you can see how easy it is. There it is. I applied for that job. So now what happens next? That resume has been sent to the immediate supervisor for that job. So that immediate supervisor is going to collect the resumes. So there's probably a posting close date when that job will no longer be posted. That supervisor will take all the resumes received, will review them, and then schedule interviews with those students. Once that supervisor schedules the interviews, they can make their decision on who they want to bring on board. So any questions on that process? Everybody's good? Okay,
And
so I'm
then
gonna-
Daisy, Jesse posted in the chat that for, again, those on-campus positions, it's $13.50 an hour. And
Yes.
what I advise, because my department is outreach and we hire students, what I recommend, please, when you're completing your resume, make sure you have your correct contact information. I've called students before and emailed students and nothing, or like the phone number is the wrong number. So please, we want to hire you guys. So please make sure that your contact information is up to date and is correct.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up, Sophia. The other big thing that often comes up when we're trying to reach students is that the voicemail is not set up. So I highly, highly, highly encourage you that if you are looking for a job, whether it's on campus or off campus, please set up your voicemail and please listen to those voice messages, because you may be missing on a very valuable opportunity because you decided not to activate that feature. So keep that in mind. Make sure all your contact information is up to date and that is ready to go so that you don't miss out on any opportunities.
Daisy.
Yes.
I'm a AB 540 student. I'm not a citizen or a U.S. resident. Can I still apply for jobs on campus?
So you can still apply for, so it won't be the actual federal work-study opportunity. So anything that comes through federal work-study does have to be for permanent residents or citizens. Is that correct, Jesse?
Yes, that's correct. For federal work study, you have to be financial aid eligible through FAFSA. so permanent residents or citizens. But we do have students who have a DACA that can apply for on-campus employment that's not a part of federal work study.
Correct.
So
So
that
if,
others, go ahead.
go ahead.
The other source of funding that Daisy's talking about, the campus does hire students directly through their departments, and you can still work on campus, but it's not going to be through financial aid.
Right. Thank you, Jesse. So if there is a social, if it's a DACA student and they do have a social, again, the non-federal work study opportunities would be the ideal ones. And let's say there isn't any of that documentation needed for either a federal work study opportunity or non-federal work study opportunity, we always have that third option, which is the volunteer opportunity, will not request for a social. So if somebody wants to make sure that they are getting that experience and something that they can add to their resume, that would be an ideal opportunity as well.
Thank you, Daisy.
Thank you. So what happens if you are selected? Well, first you can jump for joy because again, 40 opportunities for a few thousand students. It is a rare opportunity. You will be asked to complete paperwork and required trainings. You will also be asked to do a TB test and a live scan. So the live scan, that's a fingerprinting process that takes place over at Fresno City. So there's a little bit of travel involved with that requirement. And once everything is in place and in order and has been sent to HR, you will receive your clearance from the financial aid office. Prior to that, you cannot start a job. And then once that clearance is received from the financial aid office, they will let both your supervisor and you know that you can start. So you can coordinate a start date with your supervisor. All right, and with that, Jesse, anything in terms of this process on the end of financial aid?
Yeah, so this process is done 95% online. Like Daisy mentioned, the live scan, the fingerprint is in person. But the TB test, we're actually doing a Zoom appointment with the school nurse, and it's free. They give you a preliminary test. If you pass that test, then you don't need an actual TB test. So they'll ask you a list of 3 to 5 questions. And if you don't need a TB test, you'll get cleared online. So you won't have to see anyone in person. Just the live scan is in person.
Great, thank you. One last thing about federal work study to keep in mind, once you're hired, you must work with your supervisor to coordinate a work schedule that does not overlap with your classes. So you always have to make sure that you're clocking in and clocking out during a time that you weren't supposed to or were scheduled to be in school. There are instances when perhaps a class lets out early and you're like, well, I can go get my hours in and be done with them. Unfortunately, with federal work study, you cannot do that. So if you got out at 8:30 and you're scheduled to begin at 10, you cannot go in and start at 9 or any time before while you're scheduled to be in class, even if that class has canceled for the day. So that's one very important requirement there. So with that, if any of the other staff members on the call, do you have anything or any other questions that are coming through the chat? I think that pretty much concludes this part.
Yeah,
This part of our series.
I don't see any other questions, but that doesn't mean we don't have time to answer some. So if you guys have any questions, feel free. I know sometimes when language is used that we don't normally hear on a day-to-day basis, we kind of can tune out. But if you've learned anything from today's workshop, is you made a connection with Daisy. Now you know where to go for help with resumes. You made a connection with Jesse with the financial aid piece for your FAFSA. A lot of great information was shared, and I know this video is being recorded. So if you do want access to the video again, Sophia will let you know how to go about doing that. But
Yeah, if
do we
you
have
want
any questions?
Sorry, if you want access to this video, in the next couple of days, we'll have it posted to our YouTube channel. So when I dropped our YouTube channel link into our chat, so please subscribe. Every workshop that we have, we're going to go ahead and have it uploaded to YouTube, especially because Daisy covered a lot of awesome information. So if you're going through that job search, you know, on your own, you can have the video up while you're doing it. But yes, in the next couple of days, please check our YouTube channel, and this video will be there. And we do have a question. It's,
Okay.
are any of the positions working from home since we are in a pandemic?
Yes. So right now, most of the opportunities that were set up in an office setting on campus, they are being transitioned to the home online environment as well. So the students are being provided with the resources that they need, the computer, and anything that they need to access from home. Like I mentioned before, I have access to my phone number. It comes here on my computer. So that is something that is available to work from home, except with the custodial opportunity. That one is on campus because that department continues to be on campus despite, you know, the majority of us being at home.
And like Daisy said, like, again, my department outreach, we hire student workers. We call them student ambassadors, and we will be hiring soon for federal work study. And Daisy will be posting that awesome job announcement soon.
On the College Central Network.
Yes, that's the only place you're going to find it. But our previous ambassadors, they had a computer issued laptop with headset and smartphone. So they were able to make phone calls for us. They were able to help students calling in. So again, they are working from home, and we are giving them hours, and we are in need right now of student workers, at least in my department. So again, we're looking for federal work study eligible students. And again, you'll find that information, just like Daisy said, it's only going to be posted with Daisy. But to answer that question, and Daisy did an awesome job, yes, you will be working from home.
Great.
And before anyone starts logging off, we do have an evaluation. We want to hear your feedback on things that we can do to improve this workshop or topics that we can present to you at a future date. So Sophia or Paul, if one of you can copy that link that I share with you and share it with everyone. It's an anonymous survey, very short, brief survey. And I think we may have something else on the chat. Do we have anything from students?
Yes. I know you guys stated that you guys will be hiring personally for certain positions. What positions are the good question? Because I don't know what a student ambassador does. What the heck is a student ambassador?
Let's talk about that. So Sophia, you're the supervisor of the student ambassadors.
Well, first, let me tell you, student ambassadors are awesome. They're the best. No, as a student ambassador, you're really relied upon by the campus to really help out where needed. In our department, you will be helping me with getting our seniors at Madera High, Madera South, and Liberty, helping prepare them for college. We reach out to them. We have workshops with them where we're helping them with the application, orientation, everything that you've done. Because you are a student now, you've done everything. So we're helping them complete all the steps that you've completed to get them ready for college. We're working on different activities for our students. When we weren't in the middle of COVID, our ambassadors, we went out to different community events to represent the college. What we tell our ambassadors is that you're the face of Madera Community College. So we need to be everywhere and we need to represent the college. The job description will be posted. There's a little more than what I'm saying, but that's basically what we do. We are doing whatever we can to get our name out there, Madera Community College, and whatever we can to help our current students, like workshops like this, to engage, and then to help those future students to make that connection to Madera as well.
Hey, Sophia, don't hog the mic, man. There's more people on here.
But they only care about the ambassadors.
I know.
So what about student activities, Paul? What is a typical day in the life of a student activities employee?
It's anything you could think of, an activity or event that happens on campus. So pretty fun area. We do events and activities. Right now we're doing our food distribution drive. We do that every couple Thursdays of the month. Next one's coming up next week. Our food pantry, we work with clubs, we work in our student lounge when it's back open, work with various departments, bring cultural events, have a good time. I know we have like a talent show coming up that we're going to be doing virtually, things of that nature. We kind of put our hands in. But I know there's a student online right now who works in the financial aid area, who I believe is federal WorkStudy, or if not, he could still touch a little bit about that. Alvin, are you around, dude? I saw your name on there. Alvin, are you here? He's being shy.
Yes, I'm here.
Alvin, hey, can you talk about working in financial aid and what that's like?
So I don't know if that's going to be an issue because I know she wants to keep one, but she cannot do.
I'm sorry.
Can you talk about working in financial aid and what that's been like for you as a student worker?
Well, as a student, it is very convenient. I think it'd be convenient for any student to work on campus while taking classes. One of the biggest things that is a pro for it is your school accommodation. So you will never have to work on the day you have class. I think by all means, that would be the biggest pro for anything.
Awesome,
it's pretty relaxed for me. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Elvin. No, I was just going to say that you hit the nail because at the beginning, we looked at the best jobs for college students. And number 2, the top 10 jobs, number 2 was working on campus. And he said that being able to be on campus, right? You don't have to travel anywhere to go to work. And it really works with that student schedule. So thank you, Elvin.
Hey, I have one more question. So
yes.
Just to make this clear, you get paid to participate in events such as this one, correct?
Are you talking to me, Jess?
No, to Elvin.
Oh, to Elvin.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. So any events for that you attend, you do get paid. I will. I'm seeing in the chat. I was previously, before working in financial aid, I was a college ambassador. So that's really rewarding. One of the most rewarding things is every time the fair comes around, we get scheduled to be at the fair, and after the fair, we get to go on rides if you're into rides, or maybe eat a hot dog or just enjoy the scene. Again, that's all paid for. You get
not the rides and not the food. That's what he meant to say. You're getting paid for the hours that you're working at the fair.
But this is all part of professional development, attending meetings like this, learning more about the college so that they can then share it with other students, right? Because again, all of our student employees, whether they are working with Sophia in outreach and hired as an ambassador, all of our student employees are ambassadors of the college, right? They are spreading that message, making sure that they're informed. So yes, as supervisors, we will send our student employees to workshops so that they can learn more. The more they know, the more they can share with the students that stop into our offices and ask questions.
Thank you, Daisy. Alvin, are you still an ambassador? We have a question coming through. And then the next question is, where can we sign up for student ambassadors?
That's a Jesse and Sophia question. I have the flexibility of assisting the ambassadors at any time that we have flexibility. As of now, I haven't helped the ambassadors, but it's something I always talk with Jesse, and he's like, "Hey, Jesse, the ambassador needs help," because I'm familiar with the whole
everything.
Yeah, everything. That Jesse's pretty lenient. He's pretty okay with it, and he's like, "Yeah, you can go help."
Where do you work now? Where do you work now?
I'm in financial aid, so yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, I have to leave. I have another meeting. I dropped my email in the chat, so you can totally email me questions about the position. But remember, you're going to be applying with Daisy through her awesome network. But for sure, you can totally email me questions in the chat. Thank you guys so much for attending. Daisy is awesome. Connect with her. Bye, you guys.
Thank you. And with that, it's already 4 o'clock, so we want to make sure that we respect everybody's time. Paul, do you know if we were able to get that survey in the chat?
She got it up.
Yes,
early.
she did.
Okay. Please go ahead and click on that and complete our survey. Give us some feedback. We value your feedback so that we can know what other topics you may be interested in. And if you have any feedback on how we can improve our workshops, we'd love to hear from you. The person who answered that question, please do not log off. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording so that we can complete our workshop for today. Thank you so much for attending, everyone.
Yeah, and we'll be hanging out a little longer. So if you guys have questions directly for Daisy, she has a few minutes to help out.
Yes,
So
I think we
still have a few students.